You're lying in bed, eyes closed, body exhausted. But your brain, wide awake, replaying conversations, running through tomorrow's to-do list, noticing every single sound in the house. Sound familiar? Here's what most people don't realize. It's not just bad luck. There are specific, identifiable reasons your body refuses to shut down at night, and most people never figure out what they actually are. They just suffer through it night after night, assuming this is just how they sleep. It doesn't have to be. Today, we're breaking down the 5 real reasons you can't fall asleep, and more importantly, exactly what you can do about each one. Let's get into it. Reason number 1, your stress is running a night shift. During the day, you're busy, meetings, tasks, distractions. Your brain has something to focus on. But the moment your head hits the pillow, all that noise disappears, and suddenly every worry you pushed aside during the day comes flooding back. This isn't random. This is biology. When you're stressed, your body activates the HPA axis. That's your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal system, which triggers the release of cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Now here's the critical thing to understand. Cortisol is supposed to follow a very specific daily rhythm. High in the morning to wake you up, then gradually declining throughout the day, hitting its lowest point right around bedtime to let melatonin take over and pull you towards sleep. But when you're chronically stressed, that curve flattens. Cortisol stays elevated in the evening when it should be dropping. Your brain stays in alert mode. Your body can't make the shift into rest. And here's where it gets worse. Poor sleep then raises cortisol further the next day, which makes the following night even harder. That's the vicious cycle. Stress disrupts sleep. Disrupted sleep creates more stress. Repeat, the fix isn't just relax more, it's about interrupting the cycle deliberately. Mindfulness practices, journaling before bed, even writing down tomorrow's to-do list to get it out of your head, these aren't just feel-good suggestions. They physically lower cortisol levels in the evening and give your brain permission to stop working. Reason number 2, your naps are stealing your sleep. This one surprises people. You're tired during the day, so you nap. Feels logical. But that afternoon nap might be the exact reason you're staring at the ceiling at midnight. Here's how sleep actually works. Throughout the day, your body builds up something called sleep drive, a kind of pressure that accumulates the longer you're awake. It's what makes you feel genuinely tired by the end of the day and ready to crash. Napping releases that pressure early, so by the time your actual bedtime rolls around, your body simply doesn't have enough sleep drive built up to carry you quickly into deep quality sleep. Short naps, we're talking 10 to 30 minutes, can actually be beneficial. Research shows they improve alertness, reaction time, mood, and even lower blood pressure. Done early in the afternoon, they don't wreck your night. But longer naps? Those are where things go wrong. Naps longer than 20 to 30 minutes pull you into deep sleep stages. When you wake from deep sleep mid-cycle, you get what's called sleep inertia, that foggy, disoriented, slow-brained feeling that can last for hours. And a 2015 meta-analysis found that naps of an hour or more were associated with increased cardiovascular risk. That's not a trivial side effect. The rule is simple. If you nap, keep it short, keep it early, and keep it consistent. If you're struggling with nighttime insomnia specifically, consider cutting naps out entirely for a few weeks to rebuild your sleep drive from scratch. The difference can be dramatic. Reason number 3, what you're putting in your body is working against you. Most people know caffeine affects sleep, but most people massively underestimate how long it stays in their system. Caffeine has a half-life of 4 to 6 hours. That means if you drink a 16-ounce coffee at 3 in the afternoon, half of that caffeine is still active in your bloodstream at 9 p.m. Half of that is still there at 2 in the morning. And caffeine doesn't just make you feel alert, it actively blocks adenosine, the chemical your brain uses to build sleep pressure throughout the day. You're not just wiring yourself awake. You're chemically blocking your body's own sleep signals. The recommendation is to cut off caffeine at least 6 to 8 hours before bed. For most people, that means nothing after noon or 1 p.m. Yes, that includes tea, energy drinks, and yes, chocolate, now alcohol. This one is more misunderstood. A lot of people use alcohol as a sleep aid because it makes them feel drowsy, and it does help you fall asleep faster initially. But here's the problem. Alcohol is a diuretic. It suppresses a hormone called vasopressin, which means your kidneys work overtime and you're waking up to use the bathroom. It also fragments your sleep architecture, crushing the deep and REM stages you actually need to feel restored. You might sleep 8 hours and wake up feeling like you barely rested. That's alcohol's effect on sleep quality. Avoid it at least 4 hours before bedtime if sleep is the goal. And food matters too. A heavy or spicy meal close to bedtime raises your core body temperature and can cause heartburn or discomfort that pulls you out of sleep. Finish eating at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. If you're hungry, a small sleep-friendly snack, something with tryptophan like a small amount of dairy, a banana, or a few almonds, is perfectly fine. Reason number 4, your screens are convincing your brain it's still daytime. This is the one almost everyone knows about, but almost nobody actually follows. Your brain has an internal clock, the circadian rhythm, a roughly 24-hour cycle that tells your body when to be awake and when to sleep. That clock is primarily driven by light. Specifically, it's looking for blue wavelength light to determine whether it's daytime or nighttime. Here's the problem. Every screen you own, your phone, your laptop, your TV, emits blue light. And when you're scrolling through your phone at 10 p.m., your brain registers that as daylight. It suppresses melatonin production, the hormone responsible for signaling tiredness and preparing your body for sleep. Your circadian rhythm gets pushed later, sleep onset gets delayed, and even when you do fall asleep, the quality suffers. The research links evening screen use not just to poor sleep, but to increased risks of metabolic syndrome, depression, and other long-term health issues. This isn't a minor inconvenience, it's a systemic disruption. The recommendation is to stop screens at least 1 to 2 hours before bed. If that feels impossible, enable night mode or blue light filters on your devices and treat it as a minimum, not a solution. The deeper fix is building a wind-down routine that genuinely replaces screen time, reading a physical book, gentle stretching, breathing exercises, or meditation. These aren't just alternatives. They actively lower cortisol, activate your parasympathetic nervous system, and signal to your brain that sleep is coming. One framework worth knowing is the 10-3-2-1-0 rule. 10 hours before bed, no more caffeine. 3 hours, no food or alcohol. 2 hours, no work. 1 hour, no screens. 0, no hitting snooze in the morning. It sounds strict, but follow it for 2 weeks and notice what happens. Reason number 5, your sleep environment and habits are sending the wrong signals. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. It learns associations through repetition. And if you've spent months lying awake in bed scrolling, worrying, watching TV, or working on your laptop, your brain has learned that bed is not a place for sleep. It's a place for activity, for stimulation, for stress. This is called conditioned arousal. And it's one of the most overlooked causes of chronic sleep problems. The solution starts with what sleep specialists call stimulus control. Simple but powerful. Use your bed only for sleep. Stop watching TV in bed. Stop working in bed. Stop scrolling in bed. When you lie down, your brain should have one learned response. It's time to sleep. Your environment matters just as much. Research consistently points to a bedroom temperature of 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly 15 to 19 degrees Celsius, as the sweet spot for sleep. Your core body temperature naturally drops as you fall asleep, and a cooler room supports that process. Darkness matters too. Even small amounts of light can interfere with melatonin production. Blackout curtains or a sleep mask make a real difference. And noise. If you live somewhere loud, white noise or earplugs can be genuinely transformative. Then there's your schedule. Your circadian rhythm thrives on consistency. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, yes, including weekends, is one of the single most effective things you can do for sleep quality. Irregular schedules fragment melatonin and cortisol rhythms in ways that compound over time. Your wake time is actually the more important anchor. Fix that first, and your body will start pulling your bedtime into alignment naturally. Here's the insight that ties all of this together. Most sleep problems aren't one thing. They're a stack of small disruptions that compound: stress that elevates cortisol, caffeine that blocks sleep signals, screens that suppress melatonin, naps that drain sleep drive, a bedroom the brain no longer associates with rest. Each one individually might be manageable, but layered together, they make sleep feel impossible. The good news is that each layer is fixable. You don't have to solve all 5 at once. Start with the 2 or 3 that you know apply to you. Make one change this week, then another. Sleep responds to consistency. The habits that broke it will be the same type of habits that rebuild it, just pointed in the right direction. And if you've tried these changes consistently for several weeks and you're still struggling, That's worth talking to a doctor about. Conditions like sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, and delayed sleep phase disorder require professional evaluation, not more self-help tips. Don't dismiss persistent issues, get them checked. But for the majority of people watching this right now, the answer is already here. It's in your schedule, your evening habits, your bedroom, and what you're consuming. Small, consistent changes compound into genuinely good sleep. If this helped you, subscribe. We cover sleep, focus, stress, and the science of performing better in everyday life without the fluff. See you in the next one.